Hi and welcome to FutureProofMyBuilding.com. You know, when it comes to saving money and helping the environment, you shouldn't think of it as an either-or situation. There's a false stigma out there that green is expensive. I know that this isn't necessarily true, and I can prove it. You see, I've written an ebook to teach you the principles of energy conservation so that you can get your designer and builder to implement them for you. Did you know that we can build homes that save you money and energy 365 days a year? I'm talking about up to 85% more efficient than the current standard practice for next to no extra cost, even here in Saskatchewan. Just so that you understand how serious this statement is, Saskatchewan has the highest energy usage per capita in Canada. This is a climate where it gets as cold as minus 40 degrees Celsius in the winter and into the mid-30s during summer. And if we can cost-effectively reduce our need for energy so drastically here, then it can be done anywhere. My name is Shane Wolf. I'm a professional engineer, and I work with green buildings in a quality control process known as commissioning. I live and do this job in one of the most energy-hungry areas of the world, and I'm very frustrated with the way our society is moving forward. I know that we could be doing things so much better with regard to how we are protecting ourselves and the environment. As a professional engineer in this field, my job is to help people with big budgets to save money and reduce their energy usage and ensure quality with their construction projects. But these things are so important that I feel that everyone should understand how to do this in their own home. If we're going to make society more sustainable and reduce our environmental impact, then it has to start with future-proofing our buildings, because this is where our society uses the most energy. This is why I created FutureProofMyBuilding.com. So where do we start? Well, I've written an ebook to show you that this high level of efficiency has already been done here in Saskatchewan. I've written it in a simplified manner to remove the difficulty with understanding the technical aspects of what I and many other experts consider to be the most important aspect of building green. I want to give the most important parts of this book to you for free because I want everybody to understand where we are going wrong and the principles that will allow us to do something about this huge problem which affects us all. You see, there are three main problems with regard to how we've been moving forward that I see right now. The first is that even though most people want to do the right thing with regard to protecting the environment, unfortunately they don't understand the principles of how to cost-effectively build a new home or reduce energy consumption in their existing home. When you understand and implement the principles of how to do this right, not only is a building more comfortable, but it's also more valuable and it costs you less each month to heat and cool. Essentially, it is saving you money automatically. The second problem is that the business of construction is risky and based on established practices and minimum standards. Contractors and designers are business owners, and very few business owners are going to change what they do or do more than the minimum standard if they aren't specifically asked to do so, because this costs them money. And if you don't understand what's in your best interest and then ask for it in a way that your builder is going to do what they do in a way that makes them the most money. That's what businesses do. They meet the standard and their clients' expectations while maximizing profit. Oh, and by the way, with regard to energy efficiency of new buildings, there currently is no minimum standard in Canada. There's only a suggestion which isn't currently enforced. The third problem is that the energy that we use in the majority of our society is still based on the assumption of cheap and readily available fossil fuels. Now, we're beginning to realize that these resources are limited in quantity. They're increasingly more difficult to find, and in many cases, it's more expensive and increasingly dangerous to extract them. Worst of all, we also know that using them is causing unintended pollution in the atmosphere, which is responsible for climate change. And whether or not you agree with the science behind climate change, you can't disagree with the fact that as a society, we would be better off using less fossil fuels. And when you look around me and see how completely dependent we are on fossil fuels, not only for our comfort but for our safety, this point becomes even more obvious. So, okay, now why are these points a big deal with regard to new buildings? Well, any buildings for that matter. Well, whether it's a home, a hospital, school, hotel, mall, restaurant, or box store, let's hope that each of these buildings that's being made right now lasts at least 50 years, preferably over 100 years. That means that every building built right now is a bet on the availability and price of energy at this time in history, unless you want to go and spend much more money in the future to improve something that is far cheaper and easier to do correctly from the start. Not only that, but look around me. As I've already hinted, life here and in the majority of Canada and in the northern United States will get very expensive and even difficult without cheap access to energy. The complete irony of this situation is that if we were building more deliberately and with the future in mind, we could be building society in a manner that actually puts back into the system and back into nature rather than continually taking from it. When we build conscientiously, it doesn't have to be expensive, and we don't have to make changes in our lifestyle because our buildings are saving energy and money for us at all times without us doing anything. In other words, we're creating an enduring solution, one that doesn't require us to continually extract energy from the ground for years to come. So now that you have a bit of a background, what will you learn from reading this ebook? Well, you'll learn why we've been doing things the way we have for so long and why these rules no longer apply. You'll understand how the world is changing and how to prepare your new or existing home to be ready for that reality by taking a few simple steps which I outline inside. I'm going to demonstrate to you the physical principles that when implemented will help the environment and will save you money and energy year-round. This will give you more control over where your money goes so that you aren't supporting an industry which you're likely dependent on and which you may not agree with. Not only that, but I'll show you why having a far more efficient and comfortable home also demonstrates leadership and a commitment to helping the environment by increasing the value of what is already likely your greatest asset. You'll be able to demonstrate to your visitors and your family also why your home is so comfortable and how they could be saving money and helping the environment too. But perhaps most importantly, these principles in a new home in a climate such as this would help to protect your family and your investment during the winter in the event of an emergency. If you don't take advantage of the information in this ebook, you won't have the power to get the most out of your designer or builder so that they can build you the type of structure that is best for you and for the environment. You'll likely spend more money than is necessary on solutions that don't provide you the biggest benefit for your dollars, and you won't have the insight that will allow you to make the most cost-effective decisions. If you go into the construction process before understanding this information, you'll likely get swept up in the process and left with a structure that makes the most money for the people that you hire. And while they might provide you with a job well done and the best value possible, how will you know? So if you're interested in learning these principles and understanding what you can do to save energy and improve comfort within when you're building a new home or even within your existing home, I don't want the price to be a barrier to you doing so. I want everyone to understand this information so that we can start future-proofing society and so that there isn't an excuse for continuing with the status quo. You see, I'm creating a community of green builders and informed future-proofers so that I can connect people like you to the products and service providers in your area that can make all of this possible. And it all starts with this ebook. I encourage you to get the first half of my ebook right now by joining my mailing list and putting your name and email address in the web form on the right side of this page. After that, all you have to do is follow the instructions and you'll be reading it in minutes on your computer, tablet, e-reader, or smartphone. I sincerely hope that you enjoy the ebook and that you share this information with your network of friends, family, colleagues, and whoever else, so that together we could start future-proofing society by starting with our homes. There are many more areas in our society that require improvement, but we have to start with our buildings so that we can future-proof society and consciously create a better world. I'll be following up with you to find out if the information helped you, and so that I can understand how to help you out some more. Enjoy the ebook, and talk to you soon. Cheers.